Hey there, welcome to my studio here in New York City. I'm Daniel Norton here with Cadence, and we are still talking about video for photographers. We're teaching you how you can use your photography skills to start shooting some video, specifically in this series, interviews. Interviews are basically moving portraits. That's a natural step for us as photographers. So we talked about lighting, we talked about camera. Those things are pretty common. A lot of things I talked about there you probably already understood and at least had a partial grip on. Now we're going to talk about sound. This is a completely different area and something we have to think about. It's not overly complicated, but you've got to make sure you have good sound. This is key to video. So there's two kinds of microphones we often want to use in these things. One would be a lavalier style microphone like I'm wearing. They consist of a pack, which is a transmitter, a microphone that you clip onto the person, and some kind of receiver. You don't have to worry about, it's not like a movie where we have to hide it, right? If you're interviewing somebody, people know you're interviewing them. You can put the lavalier mic where it can be seen. Obviously, we don't want to make it look terrible, but don't worry too much about that. Put it where it's clear. You want to put it not too close to the chin, because if you do, when they bring their face down, it will be too loud, but not too far away because you'll pick up too much room sound. This is really a balancing act. Generally speaking, right above the chest area, kind of the solar plexus-y area of the chest is where you want to put it. This is a good spot. You see people put them way up here all the time. I find that doesn't work that well. If you do have somebody that's going to move around a lot, so not this case because we're not going to have this, let's say somebody working somewhere, you can do a trick where you see a lot of people that do these demos do, is you turn the mic upside down so that if they move their head a lot, you won't get a problem. We're not going to worry about that here. What we're going to do is put the mic about this far up. Cadence already has one on her shirt, basically just at the neckline of her dress. The second kind of mic we're going to use is some kind of a boom mic. Now, people will use the word shotgun mic. Shotgun, though, is actually a pattern of microphone. That's not what we want. A shotgun microphone is going to be super precise, and it's going to also pick up sound potentially from the back, right? Shotgun mics pick up sound in two ways. The problem with that is if you're not in a big open studio like this, let's say you're in an office building, the back of the mic might be close to the ceiling, so it might actually pick up an echo or possibly the sound of air conditioning. What we actually want is a cardioid mic. A cardioid mic puts out a pattern like a heart. Oh. And almost no sound gets picked up from the back. It picks up a nice wide, heart-shaped, I'll put a little graphic in there, heart-shaped, not really, a nice wide heart-shaped pattern that allows our subject to move around a little bit within the pattern without the sound being completely different. So shotgun you might hear, but what you really want is cardioid. Cardioid boom mic. And much like a light in photography, what we want to do with mic is put it as close as we can. The closer the mic is, the less you'll have to add the gain, which means you'll pick up less room sound. While I'm talking about that, room sound, this is super important. When you're going to record something, you need a little tiny bit of silence. That's going to help you take any basic noise like air conditioners, fans, a refrigerator out easily. You don't want to be finding little silent spots in between. That's a pain in the butt. So start your recording, have your subject not say anything for a second, and then start. Usually 10 seconds is enough to work there. We have two kinds of levels we want to take. Remember I said there's two microphones. One microphone, usually the lavalier microphone, is going to record directly into your camera. With this, we'll use the lavalier's receiver as our level. That's actually me talking, but if we have Cadence talk.
Hi, I'm Cadence.
We can see, that is Cadence. We're going to adjust the levels on our lav or on our camera, but the lav primarily, so we get it to basically be just touching the yellow. So go ahead and talk.
Hey, what's going on?
So that's a little bit soft. What we want to do is adjust our lavalier until we get it slightly into the yellow, and then we're good to go. This right here is our recorder for our boom mic. We want to peak around -12, okay? So again, we're just going to have her talk. So, hey Cadence, so where were you born?
I was born in Pennsylvania.
I did not know that. So we're going to adjust her levels until she's correct there. And if we're just quiet for a second, we can actually see how much noise there is in the room. Clearly, if we're getting halfway to -12 without her talking, then that means there's way too much noise here and we got to figure something out. Okay, we can also monitor the camera, and that's pretty much what we're going to do on the camera, right? So you can actually, again, you can see me talking very loudly. Go ahead and Cadence talk for us.
What would you like me to say, Daniel? I don't know.
Always asking people to say random, the sup is good. And again, we want to come up into the yellow at the most. We don't want to peak. Try to get them to, usually people will start at the loudest thing they're going to say. So the best way to do this obviously is to have a conversation with them and not be recording a video on how to record audio. You just start talking to them a little bit, get a little warm-up questions, let them know I'm not recording yet, but I just want to get some sound. Don't have people count or do anything like that because they will never talk at that level again. Okay, a couple more considerations. I already mentioned room tone, getting the sound in the room to start with. The other thing you want to consider is syncing your sound. You can get a clapboard, you can use automatic stuff in the software, but the simplest thing to do is to clap. Typically you want to clap 3 times because it's easy to find it in your audio later. If you forget to do it at the beginning, just make sure you do it at the end before you turn everything off. Make sure all your mics can hear it and they all get that clap. That's going to make your life so much easier. Finally, you might be wondering, well, why do we use 2 microphones? What is the reason for that? There's 2 reasons, really. The obvious one is backup, right? If one microphone fails on you, right when the person's saying something that you really don't want to lose, you'll still get it. The other reason is microphones are designed differently. They have different sound patterns, they sound different, and different recording devices sound differently. So my camera is going to do something to the sound of the lavalier mic. The Zoom recorder is going to do something to the sound of the boom mic. They're going to be slightly different, and we can mix those together in post to get a much deeper, richer sound. And I don't mean deeper as in like deep voice, but just deeper, more tone, more overall good sound. So you want to use 2 mics for those 2 reasons. So not 2 lavalier mics plugged into your camera would not be what I'm talking about. 2 completely different sources. Some options, if you don't want to buy a recorder and a completely separate mic, they make very small boom type mics that you can use your phone with. So just something, just so you're there, you don't want to lose that sound. All right, I'll put a link to Cadence in the show notes. I'll also put links to all the iFootage stuff and all the other recording stuff we talked about today. You can look down there as well for a link to my Discord server. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all the other good stuff, and I'll talk to you soon.